If you ever find yourself stranded on a deserted island, this video is for you. Cold waves carried him onto an unfamiliar shore. He lay motionless on the wet sand, unaware that his ordinary life had just ended. From this moment on, every decision would mean the difference between survival and death. A faint breath escaped his lips. His fingers twitched as the sound of crashing waves slowly pulled him back to consciousness. The island was silent, but the danger had already begun. His eyes slowly opened. Everything felt blurry. His head pounded, and he couldn't remember where he was. The only thing he knew was that he had somehow survived. He struggled into a sitting position, coughing up seawater. Every muscle ached. His backpack was soaked, and the salty wind reminded him that he was completely alone. Panic rushed through him. He looked toward the endless ocean, then toward the thick jungle. No voices. No boats. No signs of civilization. Only silence surrounded him. He jumped to his feet and shouted as loudly as he could. "Help!" His desperate voice echoed across the empty beach before disappearing into the endless sound of the waves. He ran along the shoreline, waving his arms wildly. Maybe someone would see him. Maybe a boat was nearby. But every second made it clearer that nobody was coming. Then he remembered his phone. His heart filled with hope as he quickly pulled the soaked device from his pocket. Maybe he still had one chance left. He stared at the screen. No signal. Not even a single bar. Without a network, his phone had become little more than a useless piece of plastic. He climbed onto a nearby rock and raised the phone as high as he could. Sometimes a higher position helps. This time, nothing changed. With no other options, he opened his backpack. Every item inside could become important now. On a deserted island, even the smallest tool might save a life. An empty bottle. A soaked lighter. A small cloth. A notebook. That was all he had left. Panic slowly gave way to careful thinking. Survival had officially begun. He gripped the empty bottle and scanned the beach again. His body was exhausted, but standing still wouldn't save him. The first priority was obvious: find fresh water. The tropical sun climbed higher into the sky. Every step across the hot sand drained more energy, and sweat quickly replaced the water his body desperately needed. His throat burned with thirst. His stomach felt empty. Dehydration can weaken a person surprisingly fast, especially under direct tropical sunlight. The ocean looked crystal clear. Desperate for water, he knelt beside the waves and reached down with his empty bottle, believing he had found the answer. He filled the bottle with seawater. For a brief moment, relief spread across his face. Finally, water. Or at least, that's what he thought. He lifted the bottle toward his lips. His body screamed for a drink, and every instinct told him to swallow as much as possible. Then something stopped him. He suddenly remembered an important survival rule. Drinking seawater isn't just a bad idea, it can actually make dehydration much worse. He lowered the bottle and stared at the water. It looked clean, but appearances can be dangerously misleading. Sometimes the biggest threat looks completely harmless. With a disappointed sigh, he poured the seawater back onto the sand. It was painful to waste what looked like water, but making the right decision could save his life. Instead of panicking again, he forced himself to think. If the ocean couldn't provide drinking water, then the island itself probably could. As he looked toward the jungle, something caught his eye. Large tropical leaves glistened in the sunlight, tiny droplets sparkling across their surface like hidden treasure. He tightened his grip on the empty bottle and turned toward the forest. Somewhere beyond those trees might be the fresh water he needed. The real survival journey was about to begin. He closed his eyes and took a slow, deep breath. Fear could cloud his judgment, but panic had never saved anyone. Before surviving the island, he first needed to control himself. Instead of rushing forward, he carefully studied his surroundings. The beach, the jungle, the rocks, and the trees all held valuable clues. Observation is one of the most important survival skills. He drew 4 simple priorities in the sand: water, shelter, fire, and food. In survival, knowing what comes first is often more important than having the right equipment. Fresh water came first. A healthy person can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without clean drinking water. His next mission was now perfectly clear. Although he felt hungry, searching for food would only waste precious energy. Survival isn't about satisfying every need, it's about solving the most urgent problem first. He adjusted his backpack, tightened his scarf, and prepared himself mentally. Every step into the jungle would be a calculated decision instead of another desperate mistake. Before moving, he looked at the position of the sun. Even a simple observation like this could help him stay oriented and avoid walking in endless circles. He picked up a sturdy branch from the beach. It wasn't just a walking stick. It could help test the ground, move plants aside, and keep small animals at a distance. Standing at the edge of the jungle, he resisted the urge to rush inside. Dense forests can hide dangerous terrain, insects, and wildlife that are impossible to spot from afar. Then he noticed something unusual. Narrow trails crossed the forest floor. Animal paths often led toward reliable water sources, though they can also lead to unexpected dangers. After watching carefully, he chose the safest-looking trail. Confidence slowly replaced fear. This time, every step had a purpose instead of being driven by panic. With the empty bottle in one hand and the walking stick in the other, he disappeared beneath the trees. Somewhere ahead, the island was about to reveal its first real secret. He moved slowly along the narrow trail, using the branch to push leaves aside. In dense jungle, rushing forward can hide dangerous roots, insects, and unstable ground. Then he heard something faint between the trees, a steady dripping sound. He stopped immediately and listened, hoping it might lead him to fresh water. He followed the sound carefully, stepping over roots and slippery stones. With every step, his hope grew, but he knew the jungle could still deceive him. At last, he found clear droplets resting on a broad tropical leaf. It wasn't much, but in a survival situation, even a small amount can matter. He collected each drop slowly into the bottle. Patience was essential. Spilling water now would mean wasting the island's most valuable resource. Above him, several birds kept flying in the same direction. Their movement might suggest food or water nearby, so he decided to watch them carefully. He followed the birds deeper into the forest, marking the path in his memory. Finding water would be useless if he couldn't return to the beach. Then the trees opened, revealing a small stream flowing over smooth rocks. For the first time since waking up, he felt that survival was truly possible. But he didn't drink immediately. Even clear, moving water may contain harmful microorganisms, so it should be treated whenever possible before drinking. He filled the bottle from the flowing section of the stream, avoiding stagnant pools. It was a promising source, but the water still needed to be purified. While studying the area, he noticed flat stones and dry branches nearby. The stream could provide water, while these materials might help him build a fire later. With a full bottle in hand, he finally smiled. He had found water, but without fire, he still had no safe way to drink it. He had finally found water, but finding it was only half the problem. Clear water can still carry invisible organisms capable of making him seriously ill. He pulled the small cloth from his backpack and inspected it carefully. It couldn't purify the water, but it could remove leaves, sand, and larger pieces of dirt. He slowly poured the stream water through the cloth. The fabric trapped visible debris, making the water clearer, but the most dangerous contaminants could still remain. The filtered water looked clean in the sunlight, but appearances meant nothing. Without proper treatment, invisible germs could still turn one drink into a serious survival problem. To make the water safer, he needed fire. He searched the driest ground for bark, dead leaves, and thin twigs that could catch a flame quickly. He built a small fire pit away from dry plants and surrounded it with stones. Careful preparation would reduce the chance of the flame spreading into the jungle. Instead of giving up, he wiped the lighter dry and placed it in the warm sunlight. Survival often depends more on patience and problem solving than physical strength. He tried once more. This time, a tiny flame appeared above the dry bark. It was small and fragile, but it represented warmth, clean water, and hope. He protected the flame from the wind and added the thinnest twigs first. Feeding a fire too quickly can smother it before it has a chance to grow. Once the fire became steady, he placed the filtered water above the flames. Heat would do what the cloth could not: destroy many of the invisible organisms inside. As the water reached a full boil, he watched with quiet relief. He would still need to let it cool, but his first safe drink was finally within reach.